I mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like we got the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I sure got 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Starting a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. A couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's fit. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback. I mean, he's very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, and I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show, yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right. Nice start. Big day. Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. All right, welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, live here from our Click Here digital campus here on Interline Avenue on Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in between Drusilla and Airline. Online at clickheredigital.com. Daily, we're built by RMB Builders, our friends over at RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois. You can find them online at rmb-builders.com and RMB Builders on at Instagram. I have to get in touch with Rhett this week about a little job coming up that we got at the old spot over on Government Street and get that place closed up and keys handed off to the new tenant over there. So make sure you jump online if you don't mind and hit that like button, share button, comment button as we wake up here on this Monday, and Ole Miss is still scoring on LSU after a wild weekend for South Louisiana sports fans. It did not get any better as you clicked on your television yesterday and saw the New Orleans Saints fall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-9 behind just a disgusting offensive performance. I mean, one that was just from nightmares. As bad as LSU's defense was on Saturday night, the New Orleans Saints offense was as bad on Sunday afternoon. So for Louisiana sports fans, Saints, LSU fans alike, it was a rough football weekend. That's why we're going to open up the phone lines and we're going to take your reaction this morning just like we do every single Monday. Remember the phone number over here. You can get in touch with us just by dialing 707-400-5575. 707-400-5575 is the phone number. Type that in. That is the Culotta Show. We'll start taking your calls somewhere around 7:45 and 8 o'clock and in through the second hour as LSU is still in the top 25, barely hanging on for dear life as they come in at 24th out of 25 after a just devastating loss over the weekend. One that, after the dust has settled here in the college football weekend, it is being talked about and discussed from a nation standpoint. And look, the egg continues to get wider on LSU's defensive face as the further you get away from this game. I mean, I've heard Matt House's salary announced, quoted on a couple of podcasts. I've heard just the inability to get guys in the right position, guys that are wondering why particular players are playing over certain players. You know, I mean, it's good to hear that from a regional, a country, a nation standpoint of people who are watching and following college football, because the more you watch LSU play, you go back and watch that film, the more head-scratching it really is in trying to figure out what the hell is going on defense. Because you could go to the top 100 defenses in college football and ask them, hey, would you like Mekhi Wingo? Would you like Mason Smith? Would you like Harold Perkins? Would you like Greg Penn? Would you like Denver Harris? And unanimously, I don't care where they are in the rankings, I don't care where they are as far as they go with their team, all of them are taking those guys. It ain't a talent issue. They are not coaching these guys up and giving themselves the best chance to win. When I went back and watched that game for the second time, it is so frustrating to think that Deshaun Womack is not on the field for LSU. And they're about to screw around and lose this kid. Because I've had people reach out to me over the last 24 hours, people that are close, players, parents, people that are close to the situation, and people are pissed. People want answers. And they can't get them. And just as frustrating as it is for you and I who are, you know, you're fans of the program, we cover the program and just wondering what's going on, so are people that are close to the situation. It's an issue at LSU right now on just what's the deal on defense. Why don't people know what they're supposed to be doing? Where's the communication? Where's the development? And I mean, things like Whit Weeks not playing the first half and Deshaun Womack not logging a defensive snap and not putting guys in the best position to win the game is things that are haunting this program right now. And not just for people like us who are talking about it. People that are in it day to day. People that are talking to their parents who we're talking to. I mean, you win at this level with players like Deshaun Womack. You win at this level with players like Denver Harris. You win at this level with players like Harold Perkins. If they lose those types of players from the program, you can't compete against what's going on around you. I mean, if you're paying attention to the SEC right now, Texas A&M, they've got the best defensive line in football. Forget the priority. college or pro. The last 2 weeks, they've got 30 tackles for loss and 14 sacks. I mean, they got 7 pros on their defensive line. Deshaun Womack is one of 3 pros that you have on your defensive line, and he doesn't play? After a weekend where he plays 5 snaps, the next game up, he doesn't log a rep, and there's no explanation to it? That's the stuff where you start losing players, man. You start losing your locker room. You start losing the trust. And that stuff's internally, they have to watch out for that. Trauma 68. Harris is one of the disappointments on Saturday, and Jordy's still pumping him up. No, I'm not. But what else do you have, man? All of this stuff about going back and forth on Denver Harris on whether or not you want him on the field or not, who else are you going to put out there? Because you got to just ride with those guys, especially at that position. It's like the LaTerrence Welch situation on Saturday. You turn on the first drive of that game, Welch makes 2 plays that you've rarely seen the cornerback spot make, where he defends the pass, makes a good tackle within the 10, and then does he give up passes? Does he give up the... Yeah, that's the nature of the position. And when the guy's playing on the road for the first time in his life at the college level, there has to be an expectation of, hey, he's going to mess up. And if he does, do you yank him and chew him out and put him on the sideline and then, like, regress him? Or do you coach him up in the situation and put him back out there knowing that, like, if he's not the best you have, he's only one of guys that compete today? I mean, all this stuff on Denver. Do I think Denver Harris is playing at a 5-star level? No. Do I think that Denver Harris is one of the best cornerbacks on the team? Yes. Is that saying a lot? No. But they got to play him. All this going back and forth, putting him in, taking him out. Let these guys play. Just put them out there and let them develop and play. Take the good with the bad. If it's going to be Zy Alexander and Denver Harris, keep them out there. If it's going to be LaTerrence Welch and Denver Harris or Zy Alexander, keep them out there. Let them play. Deshaun Womack, 5 snaps here, no snaps the next week. Where is the development? That's a true, that's a sincere curiosity from people. Like, how are they getting better? You got a defense that gives up over 700 for the first time in Ole Miss's history. They have a 300-yard passer and a 300-yard rusher, or a 300 yards rushing and 300 yards passing. Try something else. I mean, where is Quincy Wiggins? Where is that guy? He looks like a Greek god. Getting off the bus. Well, he can't get to the scheme. Teach him something that he can get then. That is coaching. That is on the coaches. That you let a player like that just sit and rot. He's just sitting there. And you're allowing 700 yards of offense. Put him on the field. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. He's 6'7", 240. He looks like LeBron James getting off the bus. He's got to be able to do something, right? Especially on a unit that cannot stop anything. Nothing. No one. I mean, they had their backs up against the wall with the game on the line. Ole Miss got down the field in 4 plays. I mean, I just, with the way that, like, LSU gets shoved around, with the way that they get, like, out of position, out of space, guys not making plays, like, man, we got to, you got to just exhaust every resource you got. Like, I mean, put them out there. How do you go 4 quarters in Oxford and just look at Deshaun Womack on the sidelines? And again, if you put Deshaun Womack into the lineup, I'm not saying that LSU turns into a top 10 defense, but just one stop. Just one stop. That's all you needed. Just one stop. And you win the game. They're up 10 in the fourth. I mean, I don't know, man. I just...
Somebody said they would have Tyron sitting out.
I mean, really?
Too small.
I mean, it's like Whit Weeks watching the first half of that game. I'm serious. That is insubordination. Like, really. I don't call for people's job. I think it's, I mean, they're human beings. They got people. They got family. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what in the hell are you watching to let that guy sit on the sidelines while your defense is getting manhandled, bullied, pushed around? I mean, like, that's embarrassing for that performance. And you just let guys like Whit Weeks sit and watch? Deshaun Womack just sit and watch? And it's because they didn't pick up their smoothie on time in the nutrition center? I mean, really? At the end of it, what's the purpose? I want Deshaun Womack to be a responsible citizen when he leaves LSU. Moreover, I'd like him to be the sack leader. I'd like him to be a part of LSU winning football games. It doesn't necessarily piss me off if he's the last in line to pick up his smoothie from the nutrition center. Or that he might be 1 or 2 minutes late for the team meal. I get what you're trying to build. I understand the mentality that they're trying to create. But at the end of it, it's about winning football games, man. And if you're going to go to Oxford for 4 quarters and allow an offense to put up 700 yards of total efficiency against you, and just look at Deshaun Womack standing on the sidelines, and look at Quincy Wiggins just standing and watching, and allow Whit Weeks to sit for a half of football, what are you watching? What are you doing? What's the purpose? Why aren't those guys out there? Those guys give you the best chance to win. I mean, is everybody pulling in that direction? I think there's a curiosity there. Really? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, you go back and watch that game for a second time. I mean, I just, what are they doing on some situations of like the personnel and the management of the game? And it's like, does anybody, I watched Alabama on Saturday night. Nick Saban nearly had an aneurysm Saturday night. He got in the ass of players. He got in the ass of coaches. He was on his headset. He was chewing his microphone. He was slamming his headset down. He was getting in people's, like going and meeting players out on the hash mark and like in their ear hole until they were on the sideline. To a degree, I kind of thought LSU was getting that when they hired Brian Kelly. Like, I kind of thought that's who he was. In fact, when we interviewed him, I told him, I was like, man, I was kind of wrong about you. I thought you were a screaming, red-faced, profanity-laced coach that didn't take any BS from anything. I'd rather that. I'd like him to see, I kind of like to see somebody lose their cool and throw a headset. Or getting somebody when they jump off sides out of a timeout. Or have some type of like emotion towards the defensive staff to say, fellas, turn your headsets off. Y'all are done for the night. Y'all aren't calling another play. If I've got to see one more player with their hands in the air, if I've got to see one more missed assignment, if I've got to see one more series of the players that should be on the field watching from the sideline, you're done. It's over for you tonight. I mean, some type of consequence to say, hey, fellas, somebody's got to earn their check. I mean, how many times can people just be running by themselves? How many times can one person be in zone, this guy be in man, that guy be playing some type of stunt that the other guy doesn't know what's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on? Isn't it fair to ask? It's the 5th game of the season. It's the 5th game. I mean, like, the Pete Jenkins stuff. Okay, cool. It's the 5th game of the season. What you going to do? I mean, really, what you going to do? You going to teach you hand placement? You teach you, really? I mean, Pete Jenkins is as decorated and as respected and as good of a defensive line coach as there is out there. But this is the type of move that should have been made when Jimmy Lindsey was rushed to the hospital. Right? I mean, I commend it. I get it, but my expectation on it is very low on what it's going to mean for the production of the defense. You know, I mean, I really wonder, like, what, I mean, people saying ask it at the press, it was asked.